Morning to you all our viewers and welcome from the short advert. My name is Odele Kenneth here in the Soroti district. About 3 weeks ago, government released funds meant for the compensation of the affected war victims in Iteso and northern Uganda. And the money has started trickling in people's accounts, others through banks and others through mobile money. And today we're talking to the RDC Reference District Commissioner of Soroti District, Mr. Imran Muluga, to give us a hint on how the exercise has so far kicked off in Soroti District, because in most of the districts in the test of the exercise seems to have kicked off, but with some hiccups, including extortion by the committee that is meant to select the beneficiaries. I think in Kumi, people have already been arrested. Soroti City also, a person has been arrested. Yesterday, Namuria, about 5 people have been arrested, including this point include the LOCs and the parish chiefs who were involved in extorting money from the beneficiaries. So, good morning, Mr. RDC.
Morning NTV, morning Uganda.
So, how has the restocking exercise started so far in your district?
In Soroti district, the mother district of Teso, the restocking exercise has kicked off very well. We have 54 parishes, and in the first batch of the first financial year, every parish is getting 9 beneficiaries, and government has dispersed money for 486 people, and all these people have received the money. I must say that following the insurgency in Teso, Acholi, and Lango sub-region, the president and the cabinet did pass a resolution that we should have restocking. I'm happy that this appeared to be a pledge during the campaigns. But even after the campaigns, government is committed and our people are receiving the animals. And this time round, there is an exhaustive arrangement on how the beneficiaries are picked. The Parish Development Committee that is chaired by the chairperson LC2 and the parish chief, who is the technical resource person, plus the other members, do identify the beneficiaries. But the Prime Minister of Uganda held an interministerial committee, and they did advise that in the first phase, because the beneficiaries are few, what should happen is that people who belong to the vulnerable groups, for example, the widows, the orphans who are children and heading families, the disabled, and many other vulnerable groups are the people to be prioritized. For example, the 9 people per parish are supposed to belong from that particular group. When the Parish Development Committee identifies the beneficiaries, they board the members they have identified to the Chief Administrative Officer. The Chief Administrative Officer and the IT technical person does due diligence towards the DISO, and the Security Committee looks at it and vet, and when all is well, they forward back to the COW. The COW sends to the Minister of Local Government and Prime Minister, and it is the Office of the Prime Minister and Local Government that forwards to the Minister of Finance. And when money is forwarded to the Minister of Finance, then Finance sends to Wendy. You can see a very elaborate process. And then Wendy is able to send back the messages to the Parish Development Committee and the members, such that they can go to the banks and access the money. This is a very good program where we are checking corruption. But that said and done, because we received money 3 weeks ago and the financial year is ending, and not all people are getting because they will get in other phases in the next 5 years, there is a struggle to see that people are in the first batch to receive 5 million. So the challenges we have had, that you find that the chairman LC2, who is the chair, wants to use that privileged position to put himself and put relatives. And this is why we have all these other checks. You will see that the parish chief will be pressurized by the relatives, by the friends, and even some parish chiefs tried even to put themselves. But because we have the GISOs, we have the DISO, we have all those checks and balances in Soroti, we have tried to check that. But that withstanding, we have had cases where some of the chairman LC2s did extort money. For example, in Tuburu sub-county, we had to arrest, because of vigilance, the chairperson LC2 who extorted 2 million from a would-be beneficiary. And because people feel they should get the money in the first batch, somebody promised 2 millions, and this one followed him up to the bank and obtained 2 million. But we have set intelligence on the ground, and we were able to arrest, and we have arraigned him before courts of law. In a Soroti sub-county, we have again arrested the chairman of the C2. But this was a very bad incident because this one obtained from another woman the SIM card, went and swapped it, and left the old woman with another SIM card that's not operational. But when we got information, we arrested him. We have recovered the money, but we have followed the due process because you have taken to the resident, the state attorney to advise what charges and how to proceed.
Mr. RD, let me interject a bit. You said I've heard of the elaborate process, and now I'm interested in knowing how you pick these beneficiaries, because there are many. You have said they are the vulnerable, the elderly, and the orphan families. So there are many in every parish. So how do I benefit? And you're also vulnerable. I'm also vulnerable, but I'm picked first. Tell us how you select.
Not all people are vulnerable at the same level. I did say the Prime Minister's committee did guide that we have the disabled. Those ones should be prioritized. We have the elderly. We have the sick.
But there are many in the same village.
There are many in the same village. But this is where the mandate is given to that committee, because these are people of responsibility. A parish chief, a chairperson of C2 elected by the people. These are people who are responsible. So we expect them to pick the right people. But the beauty is that when they reach at the level of for example, the chief administrative officer and also the DSO, we can reject some people. So, for example, in Soroti district, out of the 486, we rejected 150. And when we send them back with the reasons, they select some other people. But of course, we have certainly had the challenges, because these people also extort money from the people who want to benefit. But partly because in the first phase, there was no small facilitation for the committee. And the committee is required to go on the ground and check on the families of these people. If one member brings that this one is an orphan, they have to go to the village. But in Soroti and in Teso, the sub-counties are quite large. And without transport, we have had that challenge. But this one is going to be addressed in the next phase.
Okay, thank you very much. That has been the RDC, Mr. Imran Muluga, RDC Soroti District, giving us how the exercise of restocking is progressing in the Soroti District. And the exercise has been rolled out throughout Teso, and people are receiving the money except those pickups. So I hand you, our viewers, to Priscilla at the studio, and I wish you all a successful day. My name is Soroti Kenneth here in Soroti District.